Hello, and welcome to Tell Me What You Really Think. Hi, Tommy.
Hi, Lisa.
So, today let's talk about the Tappan Zee Bridge, which is now called the Mario Cuomo Bridge. Do you know it?
I do know of it. Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
pretty great bridge. Do you know why it used to be called the Tappan Zee Bridge?
No, I do not.
It was named after the Tappan Native Americans to give honor to them, which I think is really great. And then Governor Cuomo, when he was in office, went ahead and had it renamed the Mario Cuomo Bridge after his father. What do you think about that?
I didn't like that at all. Not at all. I thought
Yeah,
that
a
was
lot of
kind of out of
people
line.
were not happy about that.
Very out of line
Why do you think that?
because he had no right to change that. His dad was in office, and I understand that, but I don't think that validates changing the name of a bridge, especially now that I know what it was named for.
You know, bridges are named after, and even streets are named after different people of note. Sometimes people have fallen, such as with September 11th. We had a number of bridges and streets renamed after different emergency personnel who had responded on that day. And it's very common for different elected officials to have their name on a bridge or on a street. So the renaming is not something unusual. In fact, the Tappan Zee Bridge, before it was renamed the Mario Cuomo Bridge, was named after another governor for New York.
Who would that have been?
That was Governor Malcolm Wilson. It was called the Governor Malcolm Wilson Tappan Zee Bridge.
I had
So
never heard that.
they kept the Tappan Zee part, but they added on his name. So, I mean, it was very controversial. A lot of people were opposed to the renaming. It sounds like you're one of them. You would
Mhm.
be happy to hear then that a Democrat had brought forth wanting to rename the bridge, bring it back to its original name, the Tappan Zee Bridge.
I think that's a good idea.
Now, you know what's interesting is the fact that it's a Democrat bringing this forward, and it was a Democrat who had renamed the bridge.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's is a little peculiar.
Yeah, and I have to ask though, why now?
Why now?
Like, why was this when it was back when it was such a controversy? Why wasn't it brought up when Governor Cuomo was still in office? Is this supposed to be a slight toward him? In which case, I have a little bit of a problem with that because Mario Cuomo, although it's his father, totally different person, had done
Yes.
a number of things for New York State. Some things people love, some things people don't, depends on the way that you view things. But I'm just wondering why now?
Maybe because of all the problems that have come about from his son in the years gone past to take away the name completely from it. That way it's not affiliated at all with it because I think his son has really tarnished that Cuomo name.
So you think the sins of a son is being brought on to the father? It's kind of the
Correct.
reverse of what people are always saying. Okay, yeah, I could, I think that probably is part of it. I think probably people are undoing, any type of legacy that Governor Cuomo had. And I think that it's reflecting also on his entire family, including his father, who was in office as well. So I think you could be very right about that. I personally love the name, the Tappan Zee Bridge. I think that it never should have been changed. I feel that it pays a great honor to the people who had this land, and I felt that it was just. So when they were first thinking about renaming it, and also the great expense that went around
Yes. Yes.
redoing this bridge and all the problems that were with it, I just thought that a lot of this just didn't need to happen, and I just didn't want to change. But at the same time, I look at why do they pick the timing now? And I think that you're absolutely right on that. Do you think the fact that they're doing it because of the sun, does that weaken your feelings toward your decision on wanting it to be called the Tappan Zee Bridge again? Or how do you feel about that?
Well, it didn't sit well with me, and to see how many people of New York State didn't even approve of it when he was doing it, I think it's going to be a tarnishing thing for that family forever. And Andrew's got to understand that he brought it all on himself. And I really feel that if he had not named it that and just done something different with the name of it, it would have been accepted. But to put his name on it was just wrong. And now it's just getting caught back up.
Yeah, you know what I find interesting is number of bridges and roads, like I told you, named after people of note. But it's usually not the relative that brings it forward.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, to me, that didn't sit well
No.
because I know that when my husband passed on in our community, he was pretty well known. And the city council contacted me and said that if I wanted to go ahead and have something named after him, it would cost so much money to have it done, and I understood that because there is money involved with going ahead and changing a name. A lot of things behind the scenes that people don't realize. You have to have, if it's a street, you have to have the street signs made. You have to have a lot of things changed. So it does have an impact when it comes to financial. So I think that I and maybe a lot of other New Yorkers would have felt better about this if it was somebody other than his own son
Yes.
going ahead and wanting it named after his dad. And I love the fact that he is proud of his family because I think we are all very proud of our families. But I also think that if we're representing the whole state, we should be looking a little bit past our relatives when we're trying to pay some type of honor.
I agree 100%. And even if he had changed the name to something more attributing to the Native Americans, but not to put your own name on it, that almost seemed a little conceited.
All right. Well, I think we've covered this subject. I would love to hear what anybody who is listening to this podcast thinks. Please drop me a message. I would love to go ahead and respond to you and just hear your thoughts in general. Thanks a lot, Tommy.
You're welcome.